What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with a bantamweight. That's my favorite weight class. It is stacked, and look at this matchup between Mario Bautista and Jose Aldo. It's been signed for October 5th. It's UFC 307. It's going to be a great one. Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio, Mario. Let's get your thoughts, man, on this matchup. When you heard the name, what did you immediately think?
I was super excited. I was here at practice. I got the phone call, and I've been waiting for months to hear about a fight. Like at this point, it was like any fight. So I got a phone call and said that they're working on Jose Aldo, and I said like hell yeah, like that's the fight I want. If we can get it, I'm in 100%. So I was pretty excited about it.
What did you like about that matchup the most when you heard the name? Just his legendary status, or is it like maybe a win over him puts you over? I guess to use a pro wrestling term. I guess specifically, what did you like the most about it?
It mainly just like the big name, big name, a big challenge, and a win over someone like Jose in this division. Like it like shoots you up the rankings, and you become known to a lot of people after a fight like that. So that's what I was excited about. I know I was pushing for like a fight against Rob Font, and then I just kind of forgot about it. And like I said, I was just ready for any fight. So when they gave me Jose, I was like, I'm glad I'm waited, and I just stayed patient, and it's going to be a good fight.
Jonathan Martinez just fought him, right? And this was supposed to be kind of like an older Aldo who's maybe exiting the sport. He's just going to get rid of that last fight that the UFC had him, and then he looks great, and then he says, "I might even sign, with the UFC again." And we all kind of rolled our eyes. We just thought, well, his best days might be past him. Although he did look good, to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
in his last fight. But we thought, man, he's going to exit the sport, go do some boxing, and maybe just be a free agent, right? Enjoy that. Instead, he resigns. But I want to ask you, you're not Jonathan Martinez, you're Mario Bautista, but he did say, he goes, man, I got caught up in the moment, of this guy being a legend. And his fight, to be fair, was in Rio. Yours will be in Salt Lake City. But how do you make sure, I guess, you don't get caught up like that? Do you look up to him like that? Like kind of like a legend, a guy you looked up to as you were coming through too?
Uh, no, no, not in that sense. I look at him as like a martial artist, and the things he's able to do in the cage. So like for that last fight I get against Ricky Simone, I was looking at guys that had good takedown defense, and he was one of the guys I was watching. Like just studying to fight against Ricky. Like kind of take like what he does. But no, as like a legend and like someone I got starstruck about, I don't think he's one of those guys for me. So um, yeah, I don't know what was going on with Jonathan Martinez, but I don't think it's gonna be a factor with me.
Do you not get starstruck by any fighters or any athletes, or just not him in particular?
No, I think I try to stay away from my sport, as when it comes to MMA, and especially in my weight division or kind of close. I don't look at him like those type of guys. It's more like competition kind of things, and I always like picture in my head, like, oh, how could I beat these guys? Or like, how would I fight these guys? Say it's like a boxing champion, like if I ran into Canelo, like, yeah, I'd be pretty starstruck about that. But
Yeah.
when it comes to our sport, I think I learned a long time ago not to do something like that.
Our guest is Mario Bautista. Again, he signed on to fight at UFC 307 on October 5th. So about 2 months away
Yeah.
from a great matchup in the bantamweight division. This carries a lot of weight because both guys, obviously, Aldo's a former champ in the featherweight division. He's trying to get another belt maybe before he exits the sport. And Mario's won 6 straight and hasn't lost in 3 years. This is going to be a good one, folks. All right, goes. What do you have for Mario Bautista?
Mario, can we get your thoughts on Jose's last performance? What did you think? Did it catch you by surprise? Do you feel like, a lot of people say he's back, or some people just say, hey, maybe he just had one good fight. What did you think of the performance?
Uh, it's hard to say. Like I think he looked great. He looked in shape. He looked ready. He made 135, and I think he's just going to get as ready as he can for each fight. Um, and then it's just like I said, it's hard to say just because of Martinez and how he handled the fight. But I thought Jose looked good. Um, But I don't know, going into this fight, like as far as like preparation, I'm getting ready for the best version Aldo is, and like, you know, WEC Aldo. That's the kind of Aldo I'm getting ready for. So I think I just got to overshoot it and just be as prepared as possible and just be ready for whatever Aldo shows up that night.
You both do something that I really admire in the cage, and that's you guys put so much pressure that you sometimes make other fighters fight your game before they know it. They're reacting to you a lot, but you both do that, so somebody's got to give, right? How do you see this fight taking place? Like, do you feel like there'll be any feeling out process, or do you feel like you guys are just going to get at it?
I'm not too sure. I think we're just gonna have to get kind of straight into it. I think it's a 3-round fight. I haven't heard any different. So, you know, Aldo's tough in those 3 rounds. So whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna have to get started right away, just so he doesn't coast, you know, throughout the fight and, you know, kind of set his own pace. So I really got to implement my pace and just get after it.
Is there any importance to seeing him before the fight, right? When you guys do your press conferences, when you guys do your ceremonial weigh-ins, when you guys are face to face, do you ever read anything off of your opponent? Is there anything that kind of goes through your head seeing them for the first time?
Yeah, I guess you just size them up and everything, but honestly, you know, we have to do our stare downs and you just like look into them, see whatever, but at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. It's all about like yourself and how prepared you are and how ready you are for this moment. And like I said, I never really look at them like that. I just, you know, if they show like a good weakness or if I see something, I mean, I'll catch on to it. But at this level, everyone's pretty tough and they got their little front that they show, so that it's just kind of hard to break through. But once the fight starts, that's when a lot of things start to show. So that's what I'm gonna have to wait for.
Mario, a win here would be pretty big. You know, George mentioned the streak that you're on. There's been a lot of talk about fighters and Dana White and the way they fight. Sometimes they say a win is great, but the way you do it may actually push you even more. What do you feel like as a fighter? At the end of the day, is a win and that's what you're focused on? Or is there a part of you that wants to win, but in style as well?
Yeah, no, definitely if you can get the win and in style, that's always better, you know, especially if you get a quick finish, you know, make it an early night. That's always nice. Um, but I think for this fight, it's just you know, I think one of us is just we're both going to get after it. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a good fight, and it's not going to be a boring fight for sure. So whatever happens, only good can come from it.
Salt Lake City also has an altitude. I'm sure you've been told that, or you already knew it. Will you try and maybe go up there a little bit earlier just to acclimate?
I'm not too sure. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe if I catch wind that Aldo's up there, I might do something like that. But for the most part, I'm gonna try to do my best. You know, do stuff here what I can. Maybe go up in the mountains every weekend, and we're trying to get what are those called? An elevation tent.
Mm-hmm.
So just things like that. But I heard it's only like 4,000 something feet. So I don't think it's anything too crazy. Nothing like Denver. So you know, it's just all about just being prepared for it, being in shape, and you know, if we're on even playing field, me and Jose Aldo, then I'm not too worried about it.
Where are the mountains for people in Phoenix? Is that like going all the way to Flagstaff, or is there another area that you guys go to?
No, you can go to Payson, which is I want to say like an hour and a half away, but you don't have to go too far to get up there. So like for a weekend deal, I could do something like that.
You kind of had a fight similar to this a few years ago that didn't. It fell through, but it was against Cody Garbrandt, a former champ.
Yeah.
You know, and it would have elevated your profile, you know, sooner. Obviously, you're getting the work done. Everyone knows who Mario Bautista is now, but is this kind of like replace that? You know, you're fighting another guy that's held a belt and has that big name, I guess.
Yeah, no, this is exactly like that, and I hope I don't get like the the bad luck I had last time. So, fingers crossed we make it all the way through this camp and we can get this fight done. But yes, this kind of replaces that fight for me.
Yeah. When I was told we were going to talk to you again, I just did a little quick catch up on social media. Man, there's this other Mario Bautista with 7 million followers. I guess he's a singer or something in Mexico.
Yeah.
You obviously know about him. But you ever get crossed up with him like via DMs or something? Like maybe someone thinks you're him or vice versa?
No, I'll always get tagged in some pictures or something. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
some people at a concert and no, that's the wrong Mario. Or when I would like type in my name on Google, like his name would pop up first. So yeah, that's
So
crazy.
you heard of him?
Oh yeah, yeah. I know of him. I know that he's like a Mexican singer. So that's all I know.
Yeah. As soon as I saw 7 million, I go, damn, Mario's blowing up. And then I had to click it and I go, okay, there's another cat here.
Yeah, and I'm down
But-
like at what 15,000 or something like that.
Yeah, but then check it out. I scroll down a little bit more, seeing what you're up to, and there's an interesting pic that you posted when I think you fought at Gladiator Challenge, and you mentioned this was a few months back that back then people had doubts.
Oh yeah.
You're getting your hand raised, and people had doubts when you would mention that you wanted to fight in the UFC, and you weren't like throwing it back in people's faces, but you were just telling them, you were just kind of commenting how you had doubters, I guess, back then.
Oh,
and
100. Yeah.
Go ahead. I just want to ask you, can you talk about that a little bit? Because I'm sure that kind of fuels you.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like coming up, and especially where I'm from, the town where I'm from is just like 10,000 people there, middle of nowhere, Nevada. And, I would talk about going to the UFC. And it's funny that we bring this up because not too long ago, I think around that time, I made a post, and this is like 2011. Dominic Cruz must have fought. And I was a kid, I was like 17. And I posted, one day Dominic Cruz. And then, there's a guy from my high school that posted on there, like, what do you mean? I'm like, he was like, you think you could beat him? I was like, yeah, I think I could. And it, they just say it like in a negative way, like, yeah, right. This kid's crazy. And I don't know, I've been thinking about reposting that one and kind of throwing it back in his face, but try not to be like that these days. So, but yeah, I've heard it all, man. I've heard, be realistic, Mario. You need to get a real job. Like, see where you're from. Like, people don't blow up like that here. So it's just like, just a moment of just looking back and, realizing where I came from and like how far I've gone and, really trusting that process and believing in myself.
What's the name of the city? Maybe one day you'll get a key to the city or something like that. They, usually when there is success, they'll give the hometown hero like some acknowledgement.
Right. Winnemucca, Nevada. So it's like 2 hours east of Reno, middle of nowhere. It's like a small little mining town. But yeah, that's the spot.
Does Johnny Cash mention that city in one of his songs? I've been everywhere, man, and he kind of goes through a bunch of cities. I swear I've heard that.
Yeah, it's either Winnemucca or Reno that he says, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, I think it's the Winnemucca. Well, he might say both, to tell you the truth, but it just sounds. You know which song I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah. And he goes to a bunch of cities. And I swear he says something like that.
I'm gonna have to listen back to that. I feel like you're right, though. I feel like I've heard you on a song or two. So,
what do you come out to, by the way? What song? Do you switch it up, or is it the same one?
I think I came out to. What did I come out to last time? I think Immigrant Song. I don't know. There's something about those classic rock songs. Growing up, like hanging around like the trailer park and my friend's dad or uncle just blasting classic rock music and I don't know, just when I would daydream about fighting or something, it just would be classic rock playing in my head and I would be fighting to the music, like that'd be the background music of like my fights. So I think that's just where it comes from.
So you do switch it up though. You don't have one particular song?
No, not one particular song, but most of the time it's like classic rock.
I think you should keep doing that.
Yeah.
Classic rock is let's get to business. Like it means business all the time. Whenever whatever song pops up, it gets right to it. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, as soon as I hear classic rock, that's what happens in my mind. Just I start competing with someone, I just play scenarios in my head, and just with the music, it does get me going. So
I think you should come out to that Johnny Cash song if, in fact, his hometown is mentioned. Because for one, it's a cool song.
yeah,
It's not uncool. I don't think it goes under classic rock. I think it's got a little bit of a country feel to it, but I think he's also he transcends maybe different genres. Who knows? I don't know.
yeah. No, I'd have to check it out. If it's on there, that might be an option for us.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing. O'Malley's your homie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to ask you would you ever fight him. We're not there yet. You, Kyler, him. That's a great squad you guys got. But would you want to have the type of fame that he has if he ever made it to champion? I mean, he's blowing up. He's pretty, big leagues, obviously, with his Lambos and private jets and businesses and everything. Like, do you ever look at the title as, man, I kind of want like that type of lifestyle, or would it be the belt but a different type of lifestyle? And I guess what I'm getting at is he seems to handle the pressure well and being a champion well and all that. So but a lot of people fold under that type of pressure and fame. But how about you? Do you ever look at it and just go like, I kind of want some of that?
I don't think I would push towards like being all over social media, the success, that'd be awesome, and the business side of it and everything else that he does, that'd be awesome. But I don't think you'd ever see me like hanging out with like, Jake Paul and like, whoever else he hangs out with. That's just not my kind of crowd. So I'm not too sure, I would have to, once I get there, kind of figure out what kind of a niche I kind of fall into. So
what would be your fancy car of choice?
Oh man, I'd probably get like a classic car. I have this old Firebird at my dad's house. I'd probably restore that, and that's the kind of route that I would go. Just old trucks, old Silverados, square bodies. I'd probably get something like that.
Nice. All right. Hey, it's always great catching up with you. And this is a fucking awesome fight booking. We have an aunt in Salt Lake City. I need to get to a fight in Salt Lake City. This is like one that would pull me out there. We do these watch alongs though, every pay-per-view. So I don't know if it's possible, but like we really enjoy watching your rise through all this. And you've stayed kind of a humble dude along the way. And so I don't know, big fans over here, man. And I know Junkie Nation loves you too. So thanks for the time, bro. Good luck with everything.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much, man.